executive director of Blue Ridge Pride, and I'll get asked questions like, why do you have Pride in September? They'll ask other questions about Pride, and I realize I know nothing about Pride before I arrived here
Right.
3 years ago.
And actually, I think we had a fairly, even though it was technically illegal and the sodomy laws were in effect, Asheville, they kind of took a blind eye. And they really, I mean, we had two North Carolina gay prides here in Asheville. So we had two state gay prides held in Asheville. And that was no big deal, except to the religious right. I remember I can't remember if it was the first year or the second year. Huge parade, we had big parades in Asheville for the gay pride. And then the next Sunday, the religious right had their own parade condemning all the gays, and it was like this, this was sodomy, you're condemned to hell, and all these horrible signs on their parade. And it was all part of Ralph Sexton, that his church, big church here in Asheville, and he was the big instigator of it. But they had floats with each church, Baptist church and all these others on it, letting you know that that's who they were, and they were all waving their Bibles.
Walk me through the history from, you said 91?
Well, I believe it was 91. We were all sitting in O. Henry's on a Sunday afternoon drinking Bloody Marys. And it was Pete and Steve, Miss Green, Cousin It. It's a whole after the show crowd, and then other people. And at that time, John Griffin had taken over Tracks, which was a gay bar before it was the Hitchin' Post, and before it became Hairspray. And he was over there. And we had heard about prides. We'd seen prides in other big cities, and all these guys had been out. They'd been out. And John was a member of the Elks Club, the Moose Club, and he was out. And they all said, well, why don't we have a pride? And they're all sitting there going, yeah, why don't we have a pride? And so in a matter of a week, we put together pride, and then we did it planned for it to be behind where Hairspray was, in the back parking lot back there, and invited all the bars in town, which would have been the Cabaret, O. Henry's, the Hitchin' Post. I think the After Dark had burned down by then. Any LGBT group, P-Flag existed then. Any group that wanted to be a part of it, All Souls, and have just, basically a little pride thing behind there. And everybody was there, and it's like I had balloon, my girlfriend and I had balloon throwing, and everybody raised money for what was then not WinCap, but was for that, for
Its predecessor.
Yes, and we raised money for them to put gas in their car, to go, it was for, we made it specific, and Pete and Steve made it specific that it was only for support for people with AIDS. It could not be for lunch. For somebody to go out to lunch. It could not be for this or that or paper clips or, nothing like that. It could only be used for the client.